Hello, good morning, everybody. How are you? Thank you very much for participating in our webinar. I appreciate you spending your weekend or Friday and Saturday for Hong Kong people. We have a lot of people from different places, from Hawaii, from Hong Kong, from Vancouver, from California, from some from Los Angeles, some from Philippines. So we have lots of different people. I'm certainly very appreciate Eugene. Give me the 1 and 2. You can both see my seminar in Facebook and also in my Zoom. So appreciate that. So by the way, just want to give you some good story, and this is really interesting story. Remember a couple of weeks ago we talked about stroke, and then I was so surprised that I got a lot of more comment from all over the world, including Philippines and Hong Kong, and just happened a lot of these people saw the stroke webinar and understand some of the signs and symptoms on stroke. So net result, they end up did not take their relatives or patients or friends to to doctors. Instead, they went to show them right away, bring them to emergency. So because of that, the patient got very quickly treated. Net result, the patient become much better instead of getting very serious nerve damage and brain cells damage because of blockage. And people are so appreciative. They said, wow, if I didn't take this seminar, I might take my dad or my relative to the doctor office to check them out. And maybe that will be 3 to 5 hours before go to emergency. And the damage of the brain might be so much more, the recovery will be so long and so costly. So I really appreciate all my clients who gave me this sort of the feedback, and I appreciate them dearly, because I think I hope that we did something good for my client. Net result, they can do something about it, so better for the health. Later on, I will share some story about cholesterol. A lot of people make mistake on pre-diabetic, diabetic cholesterol. So net result, that is actually have some story. I thought that was, wow, that was interesting. People actually found out and do something about it, and net result, they have got a better health. So, but the stroke definitely was really good. And I saw some data. I was surprised. It was circulating, 15,000 people view it. Wow, I thought this is amazing. So I didn't know that was such a popular subject. So, but anyway, just to let you know, that is really appreciate you guys attended. And net result, a lot of people really felt that is very helpful for them. And net result, they benefit from, the information, and then just happened the time that they have doing that, they start doing a more serious problem from the relatives. So that was really helpful. Anyway, today, let me just say in Chinese real quick. 各位朋友，今日好多謝咧，呢個咁忙嘅時間啦 ，join 我哋啦。咁我哋都希望即係原來呢啲 webinar 係咪有用㗎？哇，原來好有用喎！因為啱啱琴日咧，唔係琴日前幾日啊，已經有幾個啦。咁2個禮拜前我哋講過即係中風嘅問題啦。咁有不同嘅地方，由菲律賓啦，有香港啦，亦都有美國啦。朋友話翻俾我聽咧，原來咧佢因為聽咗 webinar， 知道啲人嘅 sign and symptom 係如果你有 stroke 係點樣咧，佢哋唔會帶個病人去邊度啊？去醫生度，佢直接再帶啲病人去邊度啊 ？emergency 去急症室。咁個病人咧就救咗佢咧，唔會將個腦細胞更加損毀。咁呢個咧係十分好事，所以希望咧大家能夠咧喺呢方面咧更加努力，更加做多啲嘢，可以能夠 聽咗書之後咧，可以更加幫助佢咧係令到佢哋知道哇，原來呢個真係咁重要嘅。好，咁我哋就今日我哋講一樣嘢係膽固醇，好多人有誤解啦。咁希望咧由呢個膽固醇之後咧講多啲係呢個咩情況啦，係點影響你糖尿病同埋糖尿病同埋前期患病嘅人嘅健康啦。咁我講過呢樣嘢。So today the webinar is going to be interesting because a lot of common misunderstanding of cholesterol make the mistake. So I thought perhaps with this we'll further clarify, will help people understand what is really good for the cholesterol and what is lower their misunderstanding. But anyway, let me just very quickly go through just a general review because a lot of new people comes in and they might not know about diabetes. As you know, diabetic is chronic disease, won't get well. You only can able to control your diabetes, and control your diabetes is by dieting. Real lower blood sugar. You have to have dieting. You have to exercise. You have to control your weight. You have to take a blood pressure. If you are pre-diabetic, you got to get your A1C below 6.4 and all the way to 5.7. If you have diabetes already, can you get that down? Absolutely, yes, you can do that. You can actually bring your A1C from 10% all the way down to 5.7. And I see with my own eye, many of my clients are already doing that, but they have to continue to control the diabetes. So, matter of fact, as we go on, we're going to have in January talk a little bit about how do you get remission of diabetes, meaning that your A1C will go below 6.4. Yes, you can do that. You have diabetes already, you can definitely do that. Matter of fact, today we have few people here listening to this webinar have the same opportunity. They already got from like 10, now they're below 6.4. They are very good. So they're 6.1, 6.2, some of them 5 point something. So they are able to do that. So make sure that, and you cannot eat any white powder, meaning you cannot eat a little bit rice if you have, but not a lot of rice, a lot of bread to continue to lower your blood sugar. You got to do your diet change, and hopefully you can drink Lowsutea. That will also help you, especially pre-diabetic patient. There are no medication for you, so Lowsutea definitely help. Let me share with you some experience from my client and myself. Like last night, I went to a Christmas party. I didn't drink Lowsutea. My blood sugar went up to 10 something whole night. Okay, so I start realizing, wow, I didn't drink my Lowsutea. So during the time I measure myself at 10, I start drinking Lowsutea. So by the time I got down this morning, it get down to 7. I have to drink some more to get down to 6.4, meaning that I was 10, meaning I was about 190, 200 around there. And I had to drink Lowsutea, bring it back down I drank the whole bag of Lowsutea, bring it back down to about 124 or 6.4, somewhere around the area. So it really takes the Lowsutea to drink to get yourself down. So make sure if you get buffet lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever, you go to Christmas, you're going to eat a lot more, drink Lowsutea to help you bring it down, especially pre-diabetic. Diabetes is the same thing because they give you that boost. So keep that in mind. That is important, okay? So now then, everybody have the same form to bring themselves into diabetes. Because if, first of all, your cholesterol goes up, which is like LDL cholesterol goes up, will damage your B cells. And the B cells, the cells that take you to the sugar into the cells. So that damage, more B cells come out, but it will still continue to have resistance. So the insulin resistance go high. Mix sugar and cholesterol get very, very thick, makes your blood become very thick. Then you have all the entire body, every organ will start getting this plaque and start plucking everything. That is the major starting point for damaging your organs, meaning it damage your brain, damage your heart, damage your kidney, everything. That's why diabetic is such a detrimental disease if you don't well control. And that is the biggest problem. Your blood become thick and start plucking everything. And then your A1C is going to go up because your blood sugar is continue goes up. And then if you don't do anything, don't change your lifestyle, don't treat, your blood sugar will from 5.7 go on to way to 6.4. After 6.4, the fourth stage, you are converted. Everybody go through the similar stuff, similar stages. So keep that in mind. The reason why diabetic is so detrimental to your body is because they form plaques everywhere and block your heart, block your brain. So you're going to get forget about things. You're going to get dementia, all that. So keep that in mind. And if you talk about why people say, why should I worry about diabetes? That is what you need to worry, because the sugar and the cholesterol make your blood become thick. You have forming plaque everywhere in the entire body. Blood sugar continue to go up, more plaque will form. Net result, it damages your entire body organ. So that is where the most detrimental. Now, why Lowsutea work? Because basically, Lowsutea has bitter melon that will take sugar, act like insulin, take sugar into the cells, and then the guava leaf will block the sugar enter into the vessels. That's why it works. And on top of that, bitter melon will also take the sugar and the cholesterol and the salt away into the urine. And when that happens, you know what? Then your blood sugar go down, your cholesterol go down, and then the last going down is actually your blood pressure, because the salt, take the salt out, your body is going to respond with lower blood pressure. So that is really work. Now, if you don't do anything, what could happen? Man, my goodness, you have all these problems. You know, risk of stroke, glaucoma, your pancreas will get damaged, your heart will be 40, 50 to 60% of diabetic patients will have heart disease. And you have nerve damage. This is one of the bad stuff, man, because you're going to start, can't remember, you cannot feel, the nerve cannot feel. That's really sad. So that result, you have lower extremity, you cannot feel. Matter of fact, I just talked to one of the doctor who do a diabetic sensitivity test. They said the patient who are pre-diabetic or diabetes, initially they will start feeling numbness, just numbness, tingling feeling, not much. But as time goes on, a diabetic process, then it starts not feeling the foot. Eventually, they can have no more foot feeling. Matter of fact, you use a little stick using a toothpick and poke the toe and the bottom of the foot. They don't feel it. So that is where you have injury without knowing, and then you have a blister you don't know, and that's where you end up with amputation because it doesn't feel. So this is a big damage. And high blood pressure will damage your blood vessel, and then also some of these patients will damage the kidney, and they have to end up dialysis. And sexual dysfunction is because they can't feel, so they don't have sex feeling. So 30% of patients have no sex, basically, because they can't feel. And certainly, pregnancy women can potentially become a diabetes because of gestation diabetes. Although they get well, but a few years later, they might not get well. And one of the patients that, matter of fact, a very good friend of ours, that exactly 20 years diabetic because of gestation diabetes, okay? So these are the things that you have to watch. And matter of fact, as we move on, what we are going to do is we are going to talk about more about heart disease, talk about kidney disease, stroke, blood pressure, eye, so we have a whole series program that we talk about. 嗱，各位同學，你記住，因為點解我哋呢個去糖茶可以 work 咧？就係因為去糖茶咧有苦瓜啦，佢帶好胰島素，帶啲糖入去細胞裏邊啦。同埋咧就有呢個花石榴葉咧，就佢係 block 啲糖入去血管裏邊啦。咁仲有一樣好嘢咧，就係原來苦瓜咧係可以帶啲糖同埋呢個膽固醇同埋個鹽咧係掉喺個尿掉出嚟。當你做咗呢樣嘢嘅時候咧，你有3高都可以能夠令到佢降低。第一，糖降低，膽固醇降低；第3就係鹽降低之後咧，最後咧你個血壓亦都會降低。咁呢個就係咁 work 嘅。咁但係如果你話咩嘢都唔做嘅，你繼續係冇乜問題啊。咁但係個問題咧，因為咧記唔記得啊？呢度咧最大問題咧 係就係你所有嘅血管啊，都係會做咗乜嘢啊？有好多 plaques， 就係即係嗰啲血塊咧，係同個膽固醇再加埋呢個血咧，個糖咧係令到血係好厚，好厚咧就 block 晒全身嘅器官都 block 咗嘅。咁如果係咁講嘅話，你又好慘啦，因為呢個咧就令到你真係所有嘅病喺度出現啦，有中風嘅危險啦，有青光眼危險啦，就你個胰臟唔 work 啦，你心臟病會發咗40%至60%病人係糖尿病嘅心臟病啊，呢個最大問題添，神經損壞就係你能夠唔記得嘢啦，或者係冇感覺啦，咁你血壓會上升啦。同埋咧，如果冇感覺，你整傷咗啲個腳唔好咧，咁你就弊家伙，你腳割咗腳啦。仲有就係糖尿病個腎病咧，亦都好大問題。所以30%嘅糖尿患病真係冇性功能，個原因就因為佢冇感受。OK， 咁然後咧仲有呢個懷孕咧個併發症啦。咁呢個就係個 gestation diabetic 咧，呢個係會令到你第時依家冇懷孕嘅時候有。但係遲啲亦都會變咗係會糖尿病嘅。So our company very simple. We are trying to help people with high elevated blood sugar, and then to basically provide them, all the tools, and also Lowsutea. If they are pre-diabetic, change them to lower the blood sugar until they get normal. If they are diabetes, we hope that we'll bring the A1C from 10 or plus, whatever. Bring it down all the way to 5.7, so they can be really try to get them to remission. But in the remission stage, you have to continue to drink Lowsutea. You have to control your diet. It's not something that, well, I'm here, I'm cured. I don't need to drink anything anymore. That's not how it works. You have to continue to drink Lowsutea. You have to continue to eat low carb diet. You have to continue to exercise. You have to continue weight control. You have to listen to webinar on a new idea how to do that, and tracking your blood. So that's why we have 5 programs to help you out to go through this stage, to give you continue maintain healthy blood sugar. We're holding your hand throughout this diabetic journey so you can be healthy, and that's what we will do. So this is so important because a lot of people thought, wow, do I just drinking tea? No, drinking is just one part of the tools. You have to do all the 5 programs to continue to help you throughout that journey. It's so easy. It's not hard. Everybody achieve it. And I saw so many of my patients are being so happy. The A1C dropped all the way down to below 610 and moving between 5.7 to 610. And many of them are doing that. Many of them beat me because I'm only 6 or 6.1 around there. So these people are better than me. I tell you that. I saw so many of them from my own eyes. So you can do it. I know you can. So just better off you can follow through the 5 program to help you out. 各位朋友，個個朋友都可以咧，真係能夠令到佢嗰個血糖咧係可能跌到由10咧 all the way 5.7 以下嘅。其實我現在好多朋友已經有咗呢樣嘢㗎啦，咁佢哋咧其實咧就繼續咧係飲去糖茶啦，要做 exercise 啦，要食低嘅碳水化合食物啦，就要 control 個 weight 啦，就聽我哋嘅 webinar 咧就度你每日嘅血糖。當你做呢樣嘢嘅時候咧，你能夠每日都有個健康水平血糖咧，咁當然啦，你個血糖咧就一路落去咧，去到低過5.7，或者係6點下啦。咁其實咧就好正㗎啦，咁你已經係一個可以正常生活，但係唔可以放棄，唔可以話我好啦，我咩嘅都可以食得，唔係嘅，繼續要努力，繼續控制，咁你先能夠做到你嘅身體嘅健康。Okay, so we're going to talk about the 8 common cholesterol mistakes that pre-diabetic diabetic patients make, and then actually with that they can really, if they don't do it right, they actually affect the heart, and that's not good. Okay, so we are going to try to at least give you better understanding. Now we talk about triglyceride, we talk about LDL, so now we talk about the total cholesterol, so you have to understand what it is for. Okay, now you can pretty much say all diabetes patients, they always have high cholesterol first. Because remember, the pre-diabetic, diabetic patient, the cholesterol is going to be the key element that will help them to get the blood and the sugar together become thick, and they plaque up everything. All the organs are being blocked, right? So they usually, if they're pre-diabetic and diabetes, they always have high blood sugar, high blood cholesterol. So it's almost pretty much standard. So the doctor will give you some medication called statin. And statin is the typical basic medication most doctors will give. And they really require to take this medication to lower the cholesterol. Because you don't do that, you know, you can actually, I tell you some real live example, patient actually get heart attack, and some patients actually get stroke. Excuse me. Just matter of, you know, a couple months, forget about medication, they end up with that, okay? So when you get diabetes, the doctor say, hey, you know, your cholesterol going up, you are pre-diabetic, your A1C is now around 6.3, you go 6.4, you're converted, you better go on diabetic, you better go on statin, lower cholesterol, you gotta control your diet. But do you think that majority of the patient understand what the doctors say? Unfortunately not. They have some idea. So a lot of patients would say, yeah, well, you know, I'm pre-diabetic and I need to control. So they are actually said, I'm not going to eat any more sweet. And majority of patients actually told me they actually done that. They're not going to eat any more sweet. And I said, wow, that's really good. But on the other hand, what do they else they eat? They still continue to eat their rice, 1 or 2 bowls of rice every day, every meal, actually not every day, every meal. So their blood sugar doesn't go down. On top of that, although they don't have sweet, but the rice are also carbs that continue to move them up. So net result, their blood sugar didn't change much. Secondly, the doctor just said, well, you have to go diet, but really not asking them to do exercise. Or they say, well, you might do some exercise. But what kind of exercise? They don't know. They just said, well, okay, I do exercise maybe, you know, once a week, walk half an hour. But that doesn't work. You have to have 150 minutes to walk, right? So a lot of these things, they really prevent them to getting that successful result. So that is the part that you really need to ask yourself. So this webinar hopefully will give you all the insight that you can able to start understanding what you got to do after the doctor tells you, hey, you are pre-diabetic or you are diabetes. You now need to control your diet, your exercise, and cut your blood sugar down, coming down. You got to get A1C from maybe 9, 10 and got to bring it down to under 6.4. So when the doctor tell you this, you need to figure out, wow, I better start understand what does that mean. It's not only just eating not sweet, but also the rice and all that had to cut down, you have to exercise. So this webinar will teach you all that. 嗱，各位朋友，好多前期患病者，當個醫生話俾你聽，喂你已經有前期即係糖尿病咯，咁你而家要減低你嘅食物，唔好要即係控制食物啊，嗱唔好食咁多甜嘢啊，咁啊同埋要或者做啲運動啊。但係好多時啲糖友真係唔知講乜喎。好似我啲大多數嘅糖友翻嚟話俾你聽，咁醫生問你嘅時候，你做咩啊？我已經唔食甜品啫喎，我淨係唔食甜品已經，但係佢啲糖繼續高嘅。咁其實咧，佢哋繼續食咩？都係每日食1至2碗飯啦，或者佢唔食甜唔食呢樣嘢，繼續食饅頭啦，繼續食粥啦，哇更加弊。所以嗰啲糖咧係唔跌落嚟嘅，繼續係啵啵啵咁上去嘅。咁所以其實咧，佢哋好多時都唔係了解，即係冇一個整體嘅了解咧。係點控制呢個前期患病？咁同埋咧，佢亦都唔度血喎，咁度血你都唔知佢自己係點。咁最後咧3、4個月或者半年後再睇醫生咧，弊家伙轉咗去糖尿病啦。所以變咗嚟講咧，呢個係一個係好大問題。咁希望咧，如果你係去睇醫生嘅時候，知道你係高呢個膽固醇嘅時候咧， 你係好快脆咧就要即刻知道，哇！我已經係前期患病或者糖尿病，咁我點控制咧？同埋我點有呢樣嘢唔好繼續做啲錯嘅觀念咧？咁今日就講個我哋今日嘅信息咧就講呢啲嘅。So the first mistake a lot of people when they start seeing cholesterol go up, they forgot to do one more thing to why it goes up. Actually, very important is if you are continuing to drink beer, alcohol, take sugar diet, and that will actually continue to drive up your cholesterol. Because if you are focused to limit your trans fat and your saturated fat, such as like butter, lard, coconut oil, cake, biscuit, fatty meat, sausage, bacon, salami, cheese, all these are saturated and trans fat diet items. If you can able to actually lower that, you already actually can control. But another thing too, when you also drink a lot of beer, alcohol, and sugar intake like the cake and biscuit and all that, that will continue to move up your cholesterol. So one mistake a lot of people make is they have not really controlled their drinking. They might cut down some of the sweet and all that, but they're not cutting down the alcohol drinking and the sugar intake like the biscuit, fatty meat, sausage, all that they have not done. So with that, that is driving up cholesterol. On top of that, if you excess calories from the sugar, from the alcohol, that will convert it into cholesterol and convert it into triglyceride. Remember last class, we said if the cholesterol, or rather, if you cannot use up this energy, caloric energy, sorry, they will change it, this energy, into triglyceride. So net result, this triglyceride will store in all your cells for future use. So your triglyceride will also goes up. That is not going to be good for you, right? So very important. Keep in mind, when one of the mistakes make is people forget about stopping drinking alcohol and taking too many sugar, then cholesterol will go up. Okay? 嗱，好多人咧唔記得咗，原來咧你係飲酒，繼續飲酒，或者繼續食糖嘅東西，咩叫糖嘅東西？餅食啊，呢啲嘢咧係會增加，一定會令到你個 cholesterol 高濕。嗱，點解會咁咧？第一，好多朋友已經話：啊，我知道咧肥唔正仔嘅 cholesterol 唔正仔啊，咁我已經唔食好多牛油啊，呢個 coconut oil 啊，即係呢個椰油啊、餅食啊，我都唔食好多啦，同紅肉啊、腸啊、bacon 啊、salami 啊、cheese 我都冇食好多咯。但係唔食咁多呢個咧，仲有個問題咧，繼續係飲酒。飲酒咧，你係會增加好多咩啊卡路里，同埋飲酒裏亦都會有卡路里同埋糖嘅，因為有啤酒添啊，有6杯啤酒。咁呢個咧係變咗呢啲嘢咧。一做咗有多啲嘅卡路里嘅時候咧，佢就轉咗去 cholesterol， 轉咗去膽固醇同埋呢個三酸甘油脂入喺呢個細胞裏邊。咁所有整體咧都係增加咗你嘅 cholesterol， 你嘅膽固醇。所以變咗嚟講咧，變咗你真係要知道咧，第一喺呢方面咧要食多啲即係。呢啲叫 unsaturated fat 嘅東西，好似 nuts 啊、guava 啊、唔係呢個nuts 啊，同埋呢啲 olive oil 啊，呢啲先係好嘢嚟嘅。OK， 咁但係咧就唔好即係繼續咧食啲太多啲bad saturated 嘅 fat 咧，就係 cookies 啊、糖啊、butter 呢就 bad saturated fat 嘅，所以呢個就唔好食啦。 So it's really important. Stop your drinking because that is a lot of calorie. Calorie convert to what? Cholesterol and triglyceride. And then you have to eat less of this bad saturated fat items such as cake, butter, cookies, chips, but eat more good unsaturated fats items such as nuts, avocado, olive oil using the cooking. So those will be a very good way of limit your cholesterol. Okay, so mistake number one, alcohol drinking and eat more sugar without knowing. Okay, now the second mistake a lot of people also didn't think of is they keep focus one thing is really the LDL. They thought, yeah, LDL is true. LDL is called low density lipoprotein, which is considered bad cholesterol, would plug up, and that will damage your heart. And that result, you will end up, if you have high LDL, you can potentially have heart attacks. That is absolutely true. But in cholesterol, there's also the good cholesterol, which is HDL, which increase if you exercise, it will go up, HDL goes up. And also triglyceride, if you have a lot of calorie, will make it store into your cell for future use. So don't just think about LDL alone. You gotta be really looking for total cholesterol so you can bring it down, right? But it's okay to get more HDL up. If you exercise, it'll get up, okay? So certainly another thing too is you will also have your family history. Do you have a family have high blood cholesterol and other health conditions like blood pressure, then also related heart disease. So your overall health condition, the cholesterol is just one of the indicators. So you need to basically have a better understanding of the whole body. Do you have high blood pressure? Do you have a heart condition? Does your family have heart condition? Or does your family have high cholesterol, family history? Those has to be taking an overall pictures. So don't just focus LDL. Yes, it is important. There's no mistaking. It is important. But other factor has to be also focused, like your overall health condition, history of the cardiovascular disease. Those are things that you need to continue to monitor, okay? So that's the second mistake. A lot of people just focus that, forget the rest. 各位朋友，其實咧 LDL 係好重要嘅，啱focus 呢樣，因為 LDL 係一個壞嘅 cholesterol 咧，係影響你心臟嘅。如果你係 LDL 好高嘅話，你個 chance of heart attack 係高嘅。咁但係其實咧仲有好多嘢喎，好似 HDL 啦，呢啲係好嘅 cholesterol 嘅。HDL 係點樣啊？係如果你 exercise 咧 ，HDL 係高啲嘅，係 very very good。咁同埋咧，但係咧 triglyceride 咧就係如果你食好多 cholesterol 食咗好多卡路里咧，就會 store 咗喺嗰個細胞裏邊。咁其實咧呢啲嘢咧其實都要注重嘅。咁係咪係食 overall 咗個卡路里咧？所以其實咧控制個 weight 又好重要啦，係咪個磅數啊？同埋你個年齡啊，或者你其他嘅病啊冇唔止糖尿病啦，或者你有冇心臟病啊，或者你血壓高啊，呢啲嘢咧整體咧都係要注重嘅，唔係淨係一個 LDL cholesterol 咁簡單。其實整體要LDL 係一個 indicator 啫，但係要整體嘅全身睇晒你係有冇其他病咧係 related 咧，咁呢個先重要嘅，唔好淨係睇 LDL。OK， 呢個就 question。So don't just focus on LDL cholesterol. Because a lot of people do, this is only LDL cholesterol. That's it. They don't look at other things. So very importantly, you have to look at, overall body condition. Now, this is a big issue, especially when we're old, because cholesterol medication you have to continue to take for the rest of your life. So I'm 60 somewhat years old, but I have to take till all the way 80 years old. But meantime, as we move older, you know what? Are you going to forget to take the medication? I'll give you one very good example. I have a gentleman who 80 years old, and he started forgetting to take his statin medication. And that result, after forget it, go about 3-4 months already forgot to take. And you know what? His cholesterol went up. He started getting a heart attack. So lucky, he was able to get fast treatment, but his heart attack was very quickly, just few months, didn't take medication, bang, is there. Now, so really important when you have, when you get older, you better start getting a pill box, get all your medication in there, and get a picture of your medication. What I usually do is tell my customer, because I used to be a community nurse, I put a white sheet of paper and put down all the medication name, and I put one tab with a glue with a tape on it. And so they will see every day, recognize, this is statin. This is metformin. This is my aspirin. So they know exactly every day what they have to take. So get a piece of paper, put it on the kitchen, so they can recognize this pill every day what they have to take, so they don't forget. Because I can tell you, when we get older, we're gonna go forget, and that is not gonna be good. So the statin, definitely proven, is gonna help your cholesterol level and prevent heart attack. And that example, my friend, 80-some years old, just forgot to take about 3-4 months, done, got a heart attack because of that. So you really don't want to get that, put yourself into that potential risk, get heart attack and even death if you don't get treated right away, because you could die. And a Canadian study, actually 60% experience heart attack if they didn't take the, after the hospitalization, they forget to take the medication, 2 years, they get more chance of heart attack. And also one more thing, people have ischemic stroke, meaning the stroke, the blood clot here, they get the blood cannot going through to the back of the brain, the vessel block here, or the narrow of the artery, the vessels behind the brain are not able to get a nutrient, they get stroke. So that's why this is a real story. I have another patient, but he's much older, 87 years old. And the sad part is they thought that, hey, I'm okay. Why the hell I want to take statin? Okay, but within about a year, she got a stroke because of the issue. Not quite a year, I think 9 months or something like that. So net result, if you don't take your medication, your cholesterol keep going up, you don't check, voila, you got stroke, okay? Now, another thing too is a lot of patients, I don't know, in Hong Kong or the United States, wherever, they not only forgot because of the symptom, because of the fact that they're diabetes, they're going to forget of dementia. But a lot of problem is also the customer. They said, I have no sign and symptom. It didn't have any chest pain. I have no problem. And so if there's a cause, why should I take statin? And I'm doing okay. That is the real problem, because they don't take their medication. And since you have to take medication for a long, long time, for years, and now suddenly you stop, few months later, you're going to see the problem coming up. Now you stop one day, it's not going to cause any problem. You stop 2 days, maybe it's still not cause problem. You stop few days later, you will have a lot of problems, especially your blood pressure pill. A good friend of mine, mother, only 10 days forgot her blood pressure pills. 10 days now, it's not that long. Her blood pressure went up to 300s and she had a stroke. Okay, that is sad, because only 10 days forgot your blood pressure pills. So cholesterol, blood pressure pill, importantly, you gotta take those pills, my friend. Don't forget it. So really, forgetting taking a pill is going to be one of the mistakes lots and lots of people make, okay? 嗱，各位堂友，千祈唔記得食你嘅藥，因為你唔記得食你嘅藥咧，好大問題啊！好多時咧，你就會 end up 咧係會將你 cholesterol go up 啦。有幾個 example 就係有啲朋友咧就係80歲啊，佢唔食即係幾個月，咁但係咧就已經令到佢有一個 heart attack 出現，好彩佢可以救得翻快啲嘅。另一個朋友咧就佢差唔多90歲啦，80幾歲啦。咁但係佢唔記得食佢個咩藥咧？佢唔記得食咗佢嘅血壓藥啊！10日佢血壓已經去300度，咁佢就已經爆血管啦，咁就要即係行唔到啦，好慘。咁其實咧，如果喺咁多個study 啊，國際上咧，如果你唔記得食你個膽固醇藥咧，好多時咧你個 chance of heart attack 係好高嘅。第二樣嘢，好多 patient 咧，如果喺加拿大個 study 咧，60% patient 如果佢係2年裏邊做咗即係入咗醫院就有 statin 食啊，但係冇食到咧，60% 咧都會有機會做 heart attack。哇，好勁喎！咁同埋咧，如果你係有啲人咧，好多時咧又係唔食呢個 statin 呢個膽固醇藥咧，佢就會係end up 咧有個 stroke 嘅問題啦。咁所以其實咧，食呢個咧係唔好覺得話係咪好貴啊？我冇乜問題啊！依家唔使食咧，為咗係唔記得食咧，因為對後最大嘅問題咧，到老你嘅時候咧，你係可能真係唔記得食嘅。所以最好咧就每個人都拎住個叫咩個 medicine box， 咁佢能夠咧每日睇住有食咩，同埋有張白紙，每一個藥你喺今日食嘅藥咧都寫咗喺度，咁最咧日日都望住佢咧，咁你就開始記得。So don't forget to take your medication is important. Now, another mistake a lot of people really don't do is they forgot they gotta control what they eat. So doesn't mean that you are taking statin, I can eat anything I want. That's not what it is. You gotta still continue, cannot just say, well, I don't have to take a low cholesterol diet. That's it. You know, I already taken medicine. I just spoke to a friend of mine and he was saying that, wow, you know, I already taken my statin, so I can eat lovely, anything I want. I could do enjoy my red meat, my steak, my red wine. And I said, you know what? You might think you were able to survive for a little while, but as time goes on, your blood cholesterol goes up and you'll get more statin. If you don't take a statin, the chance of heart attack, bang, you're there. And the person was saying, no, I eat medication. I don't need to worry. That's not true because you don't take care of it. The medication cannot cover everything. And they already also, another thing is that they always thinking that even eating statin, you have to continue to watch like what kind of saturated fats you're taking. Are you taking a lot of carbs? Because the carbs, you get more carbs go up, you get increased blood cholesterol, right? Because the calorie will, after intake, not being used, is stored as cholesterol, right? So you really have to continue to help yourself. Make sure that medicine not just gonna, help you a bit. You have to make sure that medicine continue to help you tremendously, but you have to use also your control of dieting, eat more beans, eat more fruit, eat more fish, and then vegetable, whole grain, instead of eating red meat, sausages, all the saturated fat item. Wow, that would be terrible, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that the diet supporting you so you can make a statin to be most successful. 最大好多人咧就唔記得咗，就唔夠控制佢嘅食物。咩叫唔控制食物咧？就好多人以為哇，我食緊藥啦，使乜咁驚啊？咪任食都得啦，係咪啊？唔係，你要記住咧，要食一啲低膽固醇嘅食物。咁係點樣咧？就唔可以食好多所謂叫做即係 saturated fat 嘅東西啦，即係腸啊、紅肉啊，要食好啲低嘅。尤其是你已經係糖尿病或者前期患病咧，你要食啲低碳水化合物食物咯，要降低個卡路里咯， 要食多邊喎，即係有豆類嘅東西喎，要食多有纖維嘅東西喎，又食多 vegetable 喎 ，whole grain 喎，哇！呢啲嘢全部喺咗你係幫助你係能夠降低你膽固醇，就唔係話我食咗藥乜都得，唔得嘅 ，OK？ 千祈唔好做呢樣嘢，因為做呢樣嘢咧係反而咧係更加損壞咗。同埋啲藥咧繼續升高，咁啊唔好正啦。如果繼續要食多藥就唔係一個好現象嚟嘅。So control what you eat because that will help you to lower your cholesterol. Okay? Okay. But some people will say, well, maybe I cut off all the fat from the diet. Well, that's not realistic because you cannot cut down all the fats. Yes, you can cut off like the baked goods, like the muffins, crackers, cookies, rich chocolate cookies, which contain a lot of trans fat, saturated fat. Yes, you can do that. That is good for you. So you should continue to do that. But you got to eat some really healthy monosaturated fat, which is like nuts, olive oil, that kind of stuff. Plus, you need to eat a lot of omega-3 diet item like salmon fish, tuna fish, any kind of fish instead of the red meat, okay? So don't cut off all the fat because these salmon, tuna, omega-3 fat is really good for you, okay? So do actually, take, cannot take off all fats, but you take just good fats, meaning that you like to have olive oil, nuts, and fish. Those are good fat item. So remember to take that, okay? 嗱，各位朋友唔好話，哇！我唔食全部所有脂肪嘢得唔得㗎？呢個唔係一個真實嘅目的。你要呢個唔係一個真嘅目的，因為點解咧？你係唔可以咁樣嘅。你當然係可以食少啲 cookies 啊、crackers 啊，或者啲餅食嘅東西啊，咁裏邊好多 trans fat 嘅同埋 saturated fat 嘅嘢，呢個係啱嘅。但係如果你係要食啲 nuts 同埋食啲olive oil 橄欖油同埋食多啲魚咧，咁呢個咧係幫助你咧，亦都有啲油，但係呢啲油係幫助好嘅油，所以咧變咗係幫助你咧就唔會又亦都有 omega 3啦、omega 3啦，係幫助心臟病啦。所以咧呢個咧係會好對你會好嘅 ，OK？ So really now we talk about the 6th item now. A lot of people mistakenly is the high cholesterol, but they did not do more exercise. You really combine not only diet, as I said, you have to do a lot of unsaturated fat diet, like olive oil, all that. You have to do a lot of avocado, a lot of fish, but you also need to eat a lot of, need a lot of exercise, like walk 150 minutes per week. Walking, you can do yard work, cycling, doesn't matter, just exercise, activities, okay? The worst thing is just sit there and watch TV. That is not going to help you. And when you exercise, you lower not only LDL, but your total cholesterol. So that will be good because you burn up your calories. So if you don't exercise, your LDL might eventually start creeping up. And that is not going to help you. So keep that in mind when you exercise, that will help you to lower your cholesterol. And that result, you will feel much more healthier. 好多人忘記咗咧，就係運動係好重要，因為運動係真係幫助個 cholesterol， 亦都 burn out 你啲 excessive calorie， 唔會轉咗佢做膽固醇咧。咁當然啦，做咗呢樣嘢之後，你亦都唔會繼續食你啲即係唔好嘅 diet 啦，同埋你可以 lower 你個 cholesterol 你每個禮拜要做150分鐘嘅 exercise 啊，同埋咧係能夠行啊，最緊要行啊，因為你 exercise 咧唔係話淨係即係做嘅普通運動咧，你最好就行，一行咧容易 burn up 你啲卡路里啦，嗰啲卡路里唔會轉咗佢做膽固醇啦。如果你唔行咧， 就算做其他嘢都得嘅，可以做踩單車、bike、yard work 亦都可以嘅。咁如果你係降低咗膽固醇同埋 cholesterol 咧，就係靠好多時 exercise 做出嚟嘅。嗱，好多問題咧，好多人咧，香港人咧就坐喺度睇電視，唔做運動，咁呢個咧就真係咧降低嘅膽固醇未必咁成功效果啦。OK。Another issue that you do not want to do is jump from diet to diet. You know, where a lot of people say, I gotta lower my calories, I gotta lower my weight. So they want to a specific diet to lower his weight. But maybe not that will help them release their cholesterol, okay? So just the weight diet maybe not necessary lower the cholesterol diet. So you gotta stay with best as one type of diet. The best thing to do is cut down all saturated fat like red meat, things like that. But really look at more of unsaturated fat diet, like for example, Mediterranean diet, which has emphasized or focused more on nuts, vegetable, whole grain, healthy fats like fish, a lot of fish. You can go salmon fish, you can go tuna fish, anything in fish is okay. And then with that, they have high omega-3, so that will reduce your heart disease. So that will be lower your, also LDL cholesterol. So that would be very good rather than jump from one diet to another and another, because you need that consistency. As you know, dieting is not one thing. You have to have a consistency to continue to lower your blood cholesterol. And so that's the only way you can do it correctly and continuously is continue with the consistent dieting, okay? So remember, the Mediterranean diet is actually very good, okay? So try that. 千祈唔好咧跳依個食物嘅餐單去第二個食物嘅餐單，因為好多人咧就話我依個減肥喎，咁我食啲嘢全部減肥餐嘅，咁但係減肥餐未必對個膽固醇好嘅東西，咁所以變咗嚟講咧，有陣時咧就可以夠令到你係減到肥，但係你個 cholesterol going up 唔出奇嘅。咁所以其實最好咧就唔好即係繼續咧食下依樣食下嗰樣咧就唔 make sense 嘅。最好就 consistently 咧，即係一樣都係食呢個地中海嘅飲食嘅餐單。咩叫地中海飲食單餐啊？食好多水果啦、蔬菜啦、穀物嘅東西啦，健康嘅要含有好嘅豐富嘅omega-3嘅脂肪啦，好似魚啦，亦都食好多魚啊，三文魚、tuna 魚，乜魚都食，就好食少啲紅肉啦。咁呢個咧就全部咧都係降低到你嘅心臟病嘅，咁咪好正咯，係咪？咁你又能夠令到你咧係唔會有呢個 potential 心臟病，因為咁嘅情況。So stick with Mediterranean diet will be very good. All my friends now who are dieting with me together, you know what it does? They go 1/2 plate are all vegetable, non-starchy vegetable, and very little salad. Actually, they put a little bit vinegar, and they will satisfy it. Very good. And 1/4 is their protein, and the protein will be like fish, salmon fish. They eat a lot more salmon fish, tuna fish. All kind of fish, okay? Put it right there. And then the third one is they have the 1/4 of their carbs. And the carbs, the nice thing is they cook red and brown rice together. Wow, that's really good. A lot of fibers. And they take beans and all that. Again, a lot more fibers rather than white rice. So those are the good stuff that you got to continue to work on. And add some nuts on the carb side, that would be very good, like almond nuts and stuff like that. Or add some nuts on your salad. Almond nuts and the salad will be so delicious because you got to crank, it's chewing the nuts will be so good. 咁所以食材裏邊咧，最好就係一半全部係菜嘅。咩嘅菜咧？但係就唔係我啲有 starch 嘅菜啦，即 即係唔好有 corn 啊、peas 啊，即係粟米 peas 啊，唔好嗰啲，全部綠菜。四分一就係個魚啊，全部魚啊，呢個三文魚咩魚咧 ，tuna 魚乜都得嘅。咁然後咧就四分一咧就係你嘅自己嘅所謂我哋中意嘅碳水化合物嘅東西啦，譬如紅米啊、brown rice 豆啊，有穀類嘅東西加埋晒咧，呢個係 very good meal，OK， 呢個好嘢嘅。Okay, so a lot of people also not sensitive is that they take statin, the medication for lower your cholesterol. They also drink grapefruit. Now, grapefruit cannot work with taking statin because it does not allow interfere your body breaking down the statin. Now, this mistake a lot of people actually make because I noticed a lot of people not sensitive to that. They take the statin. They also drink what? Grapefruit juice in the morning. And then when you do that, that's just wiped it out. So do not take statin with the grapefruit juice, okay? So make sure you take other juices, okay, as long as not grapefruit. 嗱，如果你食緊呢個膽固醇藥，千祈咧就唔好食個 grapefruit 嘅食物。如果你食咗西柚汁嘅食物啊，或西柚啦，最知，咁你就會令到嗰個 statin 藥咧係唔 work 嘅，即係降低佢個 body break down 佢藥咧係有問題嘅，所以就唔好食呢樣嘢。OK， 好多人都唔知㗎，咁呢個係對你係十分有幫助嘅。So do not take statin with grapefruit. So in summary, we know that pre-diabetic and diabetic patient usually, first thing they will diagnose is high cholesterol. Everybody start with that. Matter of fact, I just talked with people who didn't know they are going to be pre-diabetic. They said, oh, my doctor told me I have high cholesterol. Well, when you have high cholesterol, most likely you are the prerequisite to be going to pre-diabetic. So it's very important. You need to start understand, how to control your cholesterol. Okay, so people usually when they have high cholesterol, they will start taking what? Statin. And if they're taking statin, they will have to actually take statin for the rest of their life. And so the doctor usually say, well, hey, you need to start probably from that lower blood cholesterol. You also, next step, you're going to lower your diet with low carbs, exercise, because you will be something to prevent you to go to diabetes. But unfortunately, a lot of people really don't understand, so they continue to have some misunderstanding what cholesterol means to them. So this is something that we're talking about, how to help you commonly. You can help you to lower your cholesterol without making this mistake. Okay? 嗱，各位堂友，好多人咧就如果你係前期患病就係糖瘤嘅時候咧，好多時第一步醫生就話喂你膽固醇高咯喎，咁你要注重下咯喎，因為咧好多時呢個咧就係多數你嘅前期患病咧係一定有呢個膽固醇高嘅。咁而同埋咧，如果你係糖尿患病啲膽固醇高咧，第一個係好 common 嘅，好常見嘅。咁你就一定多數俾藥你食咧，就係有一個叫做 statin 嘅藥。咁呢個 statin 咧就係食一世㗎啦。咁你一定要繼續食呢個藥，千祈唔好唔食。咁同埋咧，醫生就話你要食啲低碳水化合物喎，就要做 exercise 喎。咁呢個咧係然後先令到你個你個 cholesterol 咧，你個膽固醇降低嘅。咁但係可惜咧，好多人都唔知點樣，咁就 make 咗好多啲不同嘅錯誤嘅東西咧，係繼續影響你高嘅膽固醇。咁今日咧，我希望喺結論上咧，令到你更加了解咧，呢個係如果你注重咗之後咧，就能夠繼續減低嘅膽固醇，亦都繼續幫你咧係食藥之中咧係能夠減低膽固醇啦。OK， so in order to do that, you really have to basically taking a statin, but you also need to figure not to drink a lot of alcohol, because taking a lot of alcohol and also sugar diet will basically, alcohol, sugar will both increase your cholesterol. The reason is because both increase your calories. When your calories don't use, you know what? they go to the cholesterol. I mean, when your calories don't use, they will store cholesterol into all the cells, triglycerides, and so forth. So you gotta continue do. You want to lower your blood cholesterol, you gotta stop drinking alcohol, like beer, a little bit of wine, okay, but not a lot of alcohol. Secondly, you gotta cut down all the sugar item like cakes, cookie, crackers, and so forth. Now, the second mistake a lot of people forgot and they also made is they keep looking at only LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol. But on the other hand, that is not the only thing you have to look at. You have to look at overall health issue. Do you have age issue? Are you really have heart issue, high blood pressure issue? You have to overall. Don't just look at LDL. That's only 1 point only. Also, most important, a lot of people, as you get older, the problem a lot of people is we forgot to take your statin medication. That is a lot of people make the same mistake. As I mentioned, people forgot to take the medication, few months later, bang, they have heart attack. So keep in mind, do not forget to take a medication. And also a lot of people also don't do is they don't control what they eat. They eat all sort of red meat, saturated fat item, cookies, sausage. All that stuff is not good for them. Even though it takes statin, you have to control the food you eat. You have to control. Excuse me. You cannot just forget about, my medication. I can eat anything I want. That's not true. You gotta control your diet. And then you have to cut off all the fat from the diet. Is a good idea? Maybe not realistic. You do not cut off all the fat from the diet. You can, but on the other hand, you cut off all the saturated fat, but start eating a lot of unsaturated fat items such as fish, nuts, olive oil. Those are good stuff for you. And another very common thing is a lot of people don't do exercise. You gotta have 150-minute exercise per week will definitely lower your cholesterol. So you need to walk to get a 150-minute exercise. So that you will be very, very good to lower cholesterol. Because don't forget, cholesterol, your exercise will burn up the calorie at the same time, burn a calorie, then you have no more cholesterol can store in your cells anymore. You burn it off. So less calorie, the better for you. And that will come from the exercise. And don't jump diet to diet, from one diet to the other. And that's not going to help. Best is think of one diet like Mediterranean diet. You have a lot of fibers, a lot of rich fish, nuts, instead of eating all kind of red meat. The last but not least, you gotta really not to take statin at the same time, drinking grapefruit, because a lot of people don't know that. They drink grapefruit and make the statin useless because it kind of breaks down by the body. So anyway, today, this is my webinar. I'll asking for a question. I will go through the Chinese part. So think about any question. Anyway, 各位朋友記住嗱，飲酒咧係會增加咩啊卡路里啊。咁當你加卡路里嘅時候咧，咁你就會同埋啲糖啊，咁呢個咧就增加 cholesterol 咧，咁啊千祈唔好飲酒啦。少少糖酒好，但係就唔好飲好多酒。第二樣嘢 LDL cholesterol，LDL cholesterol 咧係只係如果注重一樣咧，就或者 miss your whole picture， 因為 LDL 係一個 point 嘅。咁你可以睇下其他你嘅身體嘅狀況，有血壓高啊、心臟病啊、其他嘢，就唔好淨係睇住 LDL 夠啦，因為 LDL 睇唔到，即係睇唔到成個身體嘅狀況。咁同埋最緊要咧，唔好唔記得剔你嘅藥啊！如果你唔記得剔藥咧，就最大問題啦。好多人就係唔記得剔藥咧，就 end up 咧就heart attack， 3-4月夠㗎啦。OK， 咁仲有咧就係要唔好淨係話唔食油啦，得唔得㗎？呢個唔係咁 realistic， 一定要繼續咧係要食啲嘢咧係要唔好食咁多紅肉啊，呢個 saturated fat， 食嗰啲係更加好嘅魚啊嘅東西啦。 咁同埋咧要 control 你食嘅東西，就唔好話亂咁食，乜都食，最係嘢都食，因為食咗藥啦冇問題，唔係嘅，你一定要控制嘅食量嚇，要食翻多啲纖維東西，食紅肉食少啲，同埋咧要繼續 exercise。如果你唔 exercise 咧，就弊家伙啦，因為 exercise 係 burn off 咗 extra calorie， 咁亦都 burn off 你嗰啲卡路里，亦都 burn off 咗你 cholesterol 嘅。And then don't jump from diet to diet。呢個其實有個好大問題，有啲人咧就 jump 呢一度去嗰度，咁其實 stick 落一個 diet 咧叫 Mediterranean diet 就好啦，咁你就唔會 jump diet to diet。咁最後啦，千祈唔好咧就飲呢個西柚汁，然後再食你個 statin 藥，呢個咧就幫助你咧係幫助唔到嘅，因為個 body 如果飲咗呢樣咧，你 statin 咧就唔會 break down，咁藥唔 break down 冇用咯，咁就做唔到嘅。咁我希望今日咧就俾到一個 idea， 即係整體 cholesterol 最大嘅問題，你有咩 face up 呢度嘅？咁我哋遲啲咧，我哋繼續講好多啲嘅講座之後咧，我哋講多啲係即係點解我哋要飲多啲水同埋咧仲有我哋就嚟聖誕節啦，咁我哋食啲嘢係點能夠令到我哋糖尿病者咧係會有咩問題咧？或者新年嘅時候食大餐點樣咧？因為幫我啲糖係更加好啲咧。咁我哋會講多啲咁嘅講座咧，咁令到你哋能夠即係喺嗰個節日上亦都係做到多啲幫助你係去應節嗰類啊。咁遲啲咧亦都講下咧多啲 information 關於點能夠我就係依家有糖尿病啦，點去繼續去即係跟住個糖尿病改變咧？咁呢個就會講啲嘅。So future subject coming along will be kind of good because I notice a lot of people don't drink enough water or don't drink enough Lowsutea basically, and the reason is that they didn't realize if you don't drink enough water or Lowsutea, your body will not be properly hydrated. Then you know what, your A1C go up. So we will talk a little bit more about that, get some idea. Plus, we will have a seminar to give you better understanding on you're gonna eat a lot because holiday, definitely you're gonna a lot of Christmas holiday eating. Well, how you handle it? You have pre-diabetic and diabetes. Definitely you have to do a lot of drink a lot of Lowsutea. So that is important. So anyway, that is more important for you to get more information of how to handle your holiday dinner. So make sure you well control your more control your diet, more control your calories, more control your fats. That will be overall good health for you. That result, the key really at the end of the day, you have to lower your blood sugar. The blood sugar is the key. Lower your blood sugar. Okay, good. So I do have quite a bit of questions here. I'd like to answer them. Let's see. How fast time does Lowsutea work reduce my blood glucose reading? Okay, actually it's very good. This is a good question. They said how fast Lowsutea will work to reduce my blood sugar. Actually, if you drink Lowsutea within a couple hours, you will start seeing your blood sugar start coming down. Now, it doesn't come down, boom, like that. It goes slowly coming down. But the thing is, you have to continue to drink Lowsutea to reduce the blood sugar. In other words, you drink 8 glasses a day or 8 ounces a day, 8 unit of 8 ounces a day, you will start seeing your average blood sugar continue to roll down. Now, including, just like I was saying, you cannot just drink the Lowsutea and forget your diet. you cannot expect, excuse me, expect to lower your blood sugar, continue to eat 3 scoops ice cream. It doesn't work. You have to also continue to drink Lowsutea. At the same time, eat low carbs diet, include a lot of vegetable, then you will start seeing the sugar. So, like for example, last night I didn't drink Lowsutea, but I eat a lot of heavy food because of a Christmas party. Blood sugar goes up, so I have to drink almost 1 whole glass of 1 whole 750 ml Lowsutea to help my blood sugar drop down from 10, which is about almost 180, 190, all the way down to 130 something in that area, and then continue to move down. But I need to drink more Lowsutea during the day. So you figure if your result to show continue to go down, you will take at least around 1 day to see the actual result. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, how do you know when your pancreas has a malfunction? Well, that is definitely has to come from your lab test to make sure that is it really your pancreas that malfunction. Don't forget, as you move on, when we get older, the sad part is our pancreas will start aging. Plus, you're going to have a lot of so-called insulin resistance. So insulin resistance will continue to exist. So you really need a lab test, talk to your doctors about is your pancreas malfunction or you have a lot of resistance. So that's why your blood sugar doesn't go down. And that's why as you are starting to be a fairly long-term diabetes, you have to drink Lowsutea, first of all. Second, you have to control your diet. And third, you have to exercise and cut down your weight. When you do that, you will basically very, very soon, you will start seeing your blood sugar will improve. So yes, you cannot change the pancreas, actually being aged, because it being aged, it will be aged. But you can improve the blood sugar resistance or the insulin resistance. So that will be very helpful. So think about that to get exercise. Now, any consequences of too much unsaturated fat? Actually, that's really not much consequences, unsaturated fat, because it is actually good for you anyway. So that is okay. But when you take a lot of saturated fat, meaning your baking good and all that, that will be really drive your cholesterol. So that is the difference. Okay. So matter of fact, how you gonna manage your cholesterol, that is so important to basically keep looking at ways to lower your cholesterol by eating proper unsaturated fat food, is that red meat, baking good, and so forth. So that is going to be a more better strategy than taking a lot of saturated fat item. That will be that will be the choice, I think. Now the question on how statin medication help your cholesterol, well, is a drug of choice, but it is a big question. Is really not easy to answer. So I will suggest maybe next time when we do that, I will be maybe need a different subject to talk about how the statin work. A typical statin medication, Lipitor, Sogor, these are the typical brand that will be using in the marketplace, and the doctor will basically usually once your blood LDL go up to 3 or so, they will basically usually get you to go on statin. And so it is a long subject to discuss. It's not easy to discuss. So I would say next time we have a chance, we'll do that. Why statin will be good taking after dinner time or what at night? The reason is they work on, a lot of the statin work on your liver, and they have a certain release of this statin item, drugs efficacy during the nighttime release. Usually the nighttime release usually between midnight to 3-4 o'clock. So that result, you take statin, is best to take it at nighttime, and so that's why you recommend dinner time. Is fish skin a good source of omega-3? Well, actually, not only fish skin, is really the meat itself. The fish meat itself is very good for omega-3. So because you need the actual the fish meat to give you that effect. Okay. And I have a good question from Gordon. Thank you. Thanks, Eugene, for all the questions. Does vinegar as a dressing with salad and sweet sour food, just drinking with water, juice, assist lower carbs and cholesterol? Now, the thing is this, vinegar dressing is very good, but not sweet and sour food, because sweet and sour food, you have basically add sugar. But vinegar basically lower your carb, because when you start eating, you basically decrease your carb intake instead of 1,000 iron dressing, for example. So those are very good. Vinegar is a good dressing and lower your carbs. And lower carbs is also lower cholesterol. Lower cholesterol is also lower your, well, actually lower your calories. Lower calories at its end will also lower your cholesterol. So that's why it's very good using vinegar for salad dressing. But sweet sour food and might not be the same, because you got a sweet sour pork, for example, has sugar in there, has cornstarch in there. So there's a lot of cholesterol, not a lot of cholesterol, there's a lot of carbs and a lot of cornstarch, a lot of carbs, could be a lot of cholesterol, could be a lot of calories. So that's a total different thing. But drinking water, on the other hand, or juice, will it lower your cholesterol and carbs? No, because juice has high carbs, but most of the juice. So juice is not going to help you. But water does help you, is diluting your blood. So you can help you to lower sometime, because you lower your blood, you drink more water, being hydrated, you actually potentially lower your A1C, your blood sugar. But would it lower your cholesterol? Not necessarily, because what happened is cholesterol lower is best is dieting and exercising. So just drinking water might not necessarily help you to lower your cholesterol. I hope this will help you understanding better important cholesterol and carbs and calories. Hopefully that. Imagine cholesterol, to lower it is really good if you can lower it by walking, exercising, and also lower your diet, lower cholesterol intake. That will be the key area to lower cholesterol. Okay, I hope I answered all your questions. You guys are very good. I love it. You guys are very good to get asking that all the great questions. I hope that I answer everything for you guys. And thank you again for all your question. I hope that will answer our question. So I hope you guys have a good time. Have a nice weekend. Thank you again for participating all over the world, from Philippines, United States, Hawaii, Vancouver, everything. How about another question? How about drinking vinegar and water Now you can drink water, but vinegar might not necessarily. Vinegar is good, but not necessarily break down your cholesterol. That's the thing. So vinegar and water can lower your because you drink water, that will help you on your lower your blood sugar basically because you hydrate yourself. But it's not going to be tremendously effective, as you know. The hydration have some point lower your blood sugar, but not necessarily lower your cholesterol. So just keep that in mind. Cholesterol is really lowered by dieting and lower your calories and you have exercise. So those are the things that will help you to lower your cholesterol. Drinking vinegar itself is not going to have that really so-called the real effect that we mentioned. Definitely, if you eat vinegar and you drink vinegar, I mean, with eating vinegar and salad dressing is very good. The reason is help you on lower your calories. In turn, lower your calories is going to be lower your cholesterol. Okay, I hope that will answer your question. All right, thanks, Gordon. Thanks, Eugene, and all the wonderful questions. You guys are always the best guy. Ask a lot of questions. So with that, I have a nice weekend. I appreciate you guys participating to have a nice seminar. And well, thanks, Wason. Thank you for joining us too. Okay, you take care, my friend. See you later. Have a nice weekend.